hard to believe that in addition to this being my first real estate market update for the year, it's the first one of a new decade, which I can't really believe, but here we are. Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team at eXp Realty. And as promised last month, this month we're going to look at some conditions in your local market or the main markets that I serve. But before going into that, we're just going to kind of give a quick recap of 2019 and look at some of the news and the projections for 2020 as a whole. And, 2019 started really slow. I mean, interest rates had been going up and the buyers had pulled back and things had really slowed down quite a bit. And that changed as interest rates came down in the first half of 2019. And the market in 2019 finished very, very strong. And that is continuing as we move into 2020. Starting at about middle of the year last year, most of the updates that I was doing had talk of a recession in them because that's what we were hearing. And you've probably noticed, like me, that all of the recession talk has pretty much died down and gone away. And that's because the economy remains strong. Housing remains strong. The overall economy is strong. And the latest forecast shows that the number of economists surveyed that actually think there will be a recession anytime in 2020 is down to 33%. It's only a 1 in 3 chance of there being a recession. And some companies, such as Goldman Sachs, actually say the percentage is more like 20%, so a 1 in 5 chance. One thing that everyone does agree on is that home sales are expected to increase in 2020. As we've been reporting, buyer activity has been really, really strong overall. And the latest results of the surveys by Showing Time confirm that buyer traffic in all major regions of the country is up for the preceding 4 months. What is driving all of this? Interest rates. I mean, the interest rates are still so good. It's not expected now that we're going to see any major interest rate increases in the next year. In fact, all of the reports that I've seen show that the interest rate should stay somewhere between 3.5% and 3.8%, which is obviously great news if you're in the market to buy. What's a bit of a challenge if you're in the market to buy is inventory. It was a challenge last year, and it's going to remain a challenge this year. The number of homes for sale has been steadily decreasing since the middle of last year. And even though the new home builders are projected to build more homes this year than they have in any of the past few years, it's not expected to be enough new supply to counteract the demand that we are going to be experiencing. Now, the result of that demand is home prices are going to continue to go up. Every major survey out there is forecasting price increases of somewhere between about 2.5% and 5.5% on average for 2020. And when you look at the latest home price expectation survey, it actually shows that price increases are more than likely going to be with us all the way through 2024. So on the flip side, if you're in the market to sell, it still looks as though the next few months and even the next few years are going to be in your favor with regards to that. Now that we've covered a lot of the national news and trends, I want to turn my attention to the market here in Frisco. Now, much of what I was just saying from a national perspective as far as the expectations for 2020, they definitely hold true here in Frisco as well. As you know, we definitely have a lot of new construction in our market here, but the demand locally is just remains so high. We still have a tremendous amount of people moving in, as I'm sure you are aware. If we look at the average sales price, and these numbers I'm going to provide you are looking at the latest figures as of December 2019. So if we look at the average sales price for all construction types, resale homes and new construction, we were actually up 9.4% year over year for 2019. If we back new construction out of that and we look just at our local resale market, the average sales price was actually up 19.9% year over year to just over $457,000. Now, supply locally has been steadily falling since June. At the end of December, there were actually 443 homes actively for sale in Frisco, which represents only a 2 month supply. Now, historically, 6 months is considered a balanced market, one that neither favors buyers or sellers. So, in the middle of last year, we were running just over 4 months. At the end of the year, we're back down to a 2 month supply, which is a 23% decrease year over year. What we aren't seeing, even with the smaller supply, in many cases are the bidding wars and the frenzy that we saw, and I don't really see that coming back. Buyers are definitely being a whole lot more patient in finding what it is that they're looking for, and they're willing to wait just a little bit. Now, with the inventory falling, it only makes sense that more homes are selling. And the number of homes under contract at the end of the year was actually up 40% over where we were in December of 2018. Interestingly enough, days on market has increased. You would actually think that days on market would just fall rapidly considering the inventory numbers I just gave you, but we're actually trending at about 48 days on market from active to under contract. And that is a little bit higher than we've seen in recent months, but it is typical for this time of year. We definitely see a slowdown this time of year as people get busy. They get distracted with Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year. So there's not as many people out there during those time periods. It does drag things out just a little bit. I do expect that to come down and or stay about where it is as we go forward, because as I just mentioned, buyers aren't just going to write an offer instantaneously. They are still looking for the most value that they can get and will be a little bit patient in order to try and find that. Now, these numbers I just gave you, they do represent the Frisco market overall, and it can be different in different price points in Denton County compared to Collin County and things like that. If you'd like any more detailed information specific to your area or your price point of your home, please just shoot me an email, andrew@theandrewsmithteam.com, and I would be happy to put that together for you. So I wanted to wish you a very happy new year, and we'll look forward to seeing you next month.